Hey, it's Peter Chen, making another 500 Zoom video and continuing where I left off in the last one. I think it's a fairly tough 500 Zoom pool right now. It's in the afternoon on a weekday. There are still weaker players, as you can see here. I want to call almost everything, but this 6-3 is a little too weak. So on table one, I opened queen 9 and got called by an in-position player. I think this flop is one that I almost always check, and then being this deep, I'm going to check even more than if we were 100 big blinds deep. Basically, the deeper we are, the more position matters, and the more I want to be checking out of position or betting in position. Defending 9-2 suited to a min raise on table one. Now I think I can bet or check. I don't want to be betting super often. On table two, small one limped, and I raised. Now I have a great hand to continue. And given the way this hand played out on table one, I think I just want to be betting all of the time. I have 9 high, and I think I get big bets and small bets. Table two, it went limp, raise, call, and then I bet half pot twice. I think hitting the 9, I don't have much of a reason to bet. I could get called by 6, but he still has a bunch of aces. I think he has more aces than 6s. So table two, I could raise this or I could call this. Never folding, I think. Table one, I raised and the small blind called. The main difference between the small blind and the big blind is that the small blind's uh, calling range is a lot stronger. So as the button, what I want to do is bet bigger and bet less often. I think I have a great hand to bet. Not a great board to bet. If he didn't lead, I think I just have to put all the money in with Jack High. Um, Now I don't think I should be raising if I have hearts. Blocks all of his draws and um, yeah, having hearts basically blocks a bunch of his bluffs, and it doesn't block any full houses. I forget what the suits were. Um, if I block any trips or not. So on table two, it went check, I raised, and he called, I bet the flop, and we both checked the turn. I don't think he has any aces. I think a flop that people are supposed to bet a lot on when they check, they don't have strong hands. They're more likely to just have weak hands that um, they didn't think about before clicking check. And my hand might just be too strong to fold anyways. So on table two, I think any option is fine. Betting big or small or checking. On the turn, I think I want to check a lot. I want to mostly check. My hand is good to bet, but I still want to be checking most of the time. Now, because of the way my range is, where I still have strong hands like this, I think I get to go for a really big bet pretty often. If on the turn I was betting most of these hands and I couldn't have like a flush, then I wouldn't want to be using a big size ever. So we defend 10-3 against an open. I think I want to be doing a lot of raising on this flop and for a small size too. I think on the turn, checking is fine. Uh, and clearly calling. I think this is kind of close. Unfortunately, I didn't have too much time to think about it, but maybe if I had a 30-second time bank, I would have called. So on table one, uh, I opened, got called by the small blind. I want to raise a little bit bigger than or I want to bet a little bit bigger than I normally do at 100 bigs, and also just pick my hand a little less and uh, play my range instead of my hand. And not saying that like I'm not doing that at 100 bigs, but the deeper we get, the more your range matters, and the less your hand matters. So on table one, um, I want to be either betting big or checking. Going to check this time. Pretty much the same idea on the turn. Doesn't make sense to bet too big on the turn because I don't have the same range advantage anymore. No, with the nuts, I just raise. On table two, I defended the big blind, went check check on the flop. I don't think I get big bets on the turn, but I think I do get big bets on the river, so going to make that bet with my very strong hand. So on table one, I think I can just fold even though I have a pair. Hopefully this isn't a mistake, but he bet like 1.2x pot. These sideboards are just pretty bad for the big blind. Just end up folding a lot. So on table two, I think the player who's doing the most betting here is the button. I'm not sure who has the strongest range, but I would guess the middle player, and uh, then me, and then the button, but I could be wrong. The button might have more queens. All that being said, the button just gets to bet a lot more than either of us because he's in position. I made a mistake on table one. I just checked the flop. Um, I guess that goes with my read I was making earlier that when you get flops where you should bet a lot, when people check, they're just doing it with weak hands because they're not paying attention. I think eights is a mix between three bet and call, but mostly calling. On table one, I think I have a mix between pretty much every option, and nines is a very good betting hand. But I still want to check it sometimes, probably. I think eights is strong enough for a small bet. I'm guessing that Mastermind is betting pretty often on the flop, and will still call with a seven or a four. I'm defending 7-6 from the big blind to a 2.2x raise. This is a flop where I think I get a pretty big amount of donks, and then I have a hand that plays very well as a donk. And I get a very good donking turn again. Um, I think with the line I took, I get some big betting too. But with my hand, I want to mostly bet small. If I had like a6 or a 4, I could bet big. Now I'm going to check call. On table 1, I bet quarter pot, and then I bet 1.5x pot. Now I think I just shove. Maybe a mix between shove and a smaller bet. So on table 2, I raised Jack 9 from the small blind. I got a flop where I'm uh, pretty much always betting, and now I think I have a turn where I'm pretty much always checking. And I have a pair and a flush draw, so I'm going to call. Uh, Maybe I'm supposed to raise this. So on table one, uh, Natsu opened very small and bet a quarter pot on the flop. Table two, if there was no three bet, I would three bet this hand a lot of the time. Table two, three betting ace king. I got a comment on one of my previous videos asking why I don't play with a HUD. Normally I do play with a HUD, but when I'm recording, I don't think it's very nice to be sharing people's HUD stats publicly, so just for these recordings, I don't have a HUD. I think a HUD is pretty useful, but it's not like it's a really, really huge edge. After you play a lot, you kind of you know who all the good players are because they're just the people who are playing a lot. But a HUD is pretty helpful for seeing how people who don't play a lot are playing. So um, table one, I think I have to call this. And on table two, I think I have a mix between betting and checking. I'm going to bet this time. And the most important thing you can uh, use your HUD for, and also the easiest thing is just seeing if someone's playing 20% of hands or 80% of hands. It's a pretty huge difference in like their thought process and how you react to what they do. So on table one, I called the three bet, bet quarter pot on the flop, check check on the turn. Don't think I get to bet really big here. Um, I think we both mostly don't have flushes. Oh, shoot, I timed out. I definitely should have bet, but I didn't notice that my time bank was running out. Pocket fives, I'm going to mix a raise or a call. Mostly calling. And I'm always going to call this 4-bet with a pair. I think I have to call one more. I don't like it, but uh, my hand is probably a little bit too strong to just fold. Up till one, I 3-bet with sevens. I think I mostly want to be small betting. Maybe I get some checks with this hand. Opening 10-9 suited on table one. Call the 3-bet. I have a very middling hand and I don't think I should raise it. On table two, this is mixed. Going to either call or 4-bet sometimes. I don't know if I should raise or just call now that I have a flush. The sizing for a raise kind of sucks. And table two, we got a very nice flop. I think I'm just calling my hand is pretty not vulnerable. Although we did get the uh, worst turn. Still have to call though. On table one, I feel like this is close, but I'm not sure. I don't know if having the diamond is good or not. unsure, so I'm going to call. On table 2, I defend the big blind, and I think right now my hand is a pure call. If I had a better kicker, I would raise it sometimes on the flop. I think I just have a call again. Table 1, blind versus blind, I think my hand is too strong to fold as well. It might be a raise, I'm not sure. And now I can fold on the turn. It's been half an hour, so I'm going to end the video here. I'll play out these hands that I have already. It's 10-2. It's likely that it's going to go bet small right now, and then I'm either going to call or raise. So on this turn, I think I only want to be betting small, and my hand is probably a mix between betting and checking. Alright, thanks for watching this video. See you next time.